Follow that satellite and do not take your eye off it, because it is taking you all the way to the East Midlands, to Lady Bay, because it is our favourite day of the week. BUCS Super Rugby brought to you by Yoti, and we got a cracker on our hands tonight. Nottingham Trent take on Durham University for a 7 p.m. kickoff, coming to you live. Well, welcome to Nottingham, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to everybody at home. We've left November behind and we're into December, and we are bringing you our 3 days of BUCSmas. 3 fixtures in December, and we're opening the Advent calendar at door number 1 tonight for Nottingham Trent versus Durham as 6th play 8th in this fascinating league that is impossible to tear apart at the moment. I'm joined once again by Chris, the performance sport manager of Nottingham Trent University. He joined us for the first fixture. He was so good last time. We've got him back for a bit of expert analysis, and we've got a real game on our hands tonight, Chris.
We have. It's really exciting, this one. We love playing against Durham, one of the real historical sides of university rugby. They come with a massive amount. We've been happy with what we're doing so far this season. Of course, we'd have rather picked up a couple more wins, but we're really excited to be here tonight. Hopefully the weather holds off and we have a good one.
Well, you mentioned that Durham are one of the historic powerhouses of university rugby, but you've got fond memories after back-to-back victories against them away last year.
Yeah, we have. I mean, they came on the end of a huge amount of work for us at the end of the season, and we were absolutely delighted to go up there and win. More for the rewards for the guys who'd done such hard work last year, and we were unfortunate really not to beat them here as well. We had an early red card in that game as well, so we enjoy playing against them. We've always had good games against them. Let's see how we go tonight.
Okay, well, that's in the past, Chris. Let's look at this evening's game. It's pretty wet down here. The rain has abated for the time being. How do you see tonight's game unfolding?
Yeah, I mean, the conditions down here are pretty good. The groundsman has done a really good amount of work on the pitch, but the reality is I do think it's going to cut up relatively quickly. I can see it being a very forward orientated game, which delights me greatly, as from last time people
maybe not our viewers at home,
but I do think it's going to be dominated by that. A lot of the games this season across Super Rugby have been dominated by the back row. It will be exactly the same tonight. There'll be wet balls, it will be loose, there'll be a lot going on. I think whoever comes out on top of that will probably take the game home.
Excellent stuff. Okay, well, of course, we are not the only fixture that is taking place in the league today. It is a Super Wednesday with all 10 teams on the scene, and there was an early one. It was a top-of-the-table clash. El Clasico, some were billing it as, at 2 p.m, and Hartbury have sprung the result of the season with a bonus point 25-0 win away at Exeter. Jack Johnson was the star with 2 tries and a supreme display of tactical kicking. The bonus point coming right in the last minute, and that's going to have a major implication on the league table. Elsewhere, Cardiff have kicked off against Leeds Beckett at Clanrumney, and they are leading 13-0 at the moment with the half-time approaching. 6:30 sees Cardiff Met host Northumbria at Kincoid, and then kicking off the same time as us here, it is Loughborough versus Bath, who beat Hartbury away last week up at the Rubber Crumb. So who knows what's going to happen tonight, but you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a league table shakedown, and it's already happened so far. Let's have a look at it. It's like a snakes and ladders. You wake up the wrong side of the bed, pick up a loss, and you see yourself plummeting down the league. Well, Hartbury, they've come up bristling, and they're now top of the pops, top of the Christmas tree, if you will. And Exeter moved to second. Cardiff met with an opportunity to move up from third. It's congested in the middle, but a win tonight for Leeds Beckett will see them go up to 7th, depending on Loughborough's win. Cardiff are looking to climb from the foot of the table. So there we have it. Lots going on tonight and lots to talk about in the league. But with Christmas holidays approaching, there'll be plenty of time for you to wax the plastic, buying presents, or indeed going to Christmas parties and needing your ID. So why not play it safe by protecting your identity with our sponsors, Yoti?
It was so much easier because I had already set up on the app about 3 months ago, actually, when it first came to the island.
I really like how simple it was to use.
It's the kind of convenience we want in this holidays that we live in.
Like, you don't really want to carry your passport around on night out, you're always going to have a phone on you.
The convenience to be able to go up and get my phone and just scan a thing.
It's just easy, you have all your stuff in one place.
It makes life a lot easier when you're trying to prove your age, and quite versatile as well.
Great to hear from Yoti there, a crucial cog in making the league what it is and helping us to bring it to your screens this evening. Now, Chris, a last few words on the game. Now, Trent, they have struggled with their consistency a little bit, and that's maybe to do with the relationship with Nottingham, but it's also a positive thing. There's plenty of boys with championship exposure in the ranks.
Oh, it's a massive positive. We've got 12 of our students are contracted to Nottingham. That does at times means we have more of our students than maybe we would like out playing for them, but it gives them fantastic exposure. It means they're playing at a level which is only going to improve them, and we've got 5 or 6 of those boys back in tonight playing in this game. We're only missing one tonight, which is Jake Farnworth, the hooker, who's been doing superbly for Nottingham this season. He's been a regular on their team sheet, and we're delighted that those guys are getting those opportunities. And ultimately, that's why we are here. We are here to give guys opportunities and prove them as rugby players. And fingers crossed they can do some good things for the uni at the same time.
Well, Trent feeling positive, but Durham coming off the back of 2 wins. That's enough jibber jabber from Chris and I. Let's hear from the coaches. Here we are, Alex, meeting on the road once again. Team Durham have clocked up a fair few road miles this term so far.
Yeah, we've had certainly the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think Cardiff Met, Hartbury, Bath and now Nottingham, so yeah, a lot of travelling.
So seasoned travellers, so this shouldn't faze you in a away trip to Nottingham Trent?
Hopefully not, no, we need to come out of the traps really quickly and get to our game early.
Now, you guys had a bit of a wobble at the start of November, but you've steadied the ship with an away win against Bath, last week's victory as well. You must be very pleased with the players' resolve.
Yeah, I think we've shown a lot more grit this year. I think the games we lost were a bit unfortunate down at Cardiff Met. We just didn't turn around the second half. We had a real good first half. Hartbury, I thought, were outstanding this year. Probably their result reflects a little bit today, winning down at Exeter. So, they're a decent side, and I think we gave them too much respect. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we've lost to 2 opponents in the league, and so we want to try and keep it at that.
Lovely. Now, I'm fascinated by the team selection tonight. Markham and Wilson dropped to the bench. Stevenson straight into a starting berth, having been out for a while. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so Basham and Josh and Charlie Wilson have both been away with the England 20s this weekend. They had a pretty brutal camp, by all accounts, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We said to them, ring us Sunday and just let me know where you are in terms of do you feel like playing, if you want to start, if you feel like you want to bench or you feel like you're not fit enough to play, let me know. Because I think that's really important. At the end of the day, the player has to come first. And as much as our programme is really important to us, and it is, they have to come first. So they both said they were pretty tired, they wanted to be involved, so we benched them. Colin was a rotational thing. Marion hasn't played much because he was out with concussion after the first game against Bath, and we just want to get him in and having a run and having 40. So outside of that, yeah, Ben Stevenson, well, he was on the 24th man for the Premiership. You're not going to pick him, are you?
A lovely luxury to have. Final question, Alex. If you win this evening, are you going to come and join me for a post-match interview, or am I going to have to chase you around the field as always?
I don't know. We'll see. I might come and find you, yeah.
Treating me, Keevan King. Good luck, Alex.
Okay, thank you.
Alex, you are sitting a lot prettier than this time last year. You've had some real highs with the victory over Loughborough here, Cardiff Met also, but consistency is evading you. What seems to be the problem?
I just think that it's week in, week out. Every game's a really tough one. So, another really tough one tonight against Durham. They'd have to be coming to this game as favourites over us tonight, definitely, after they've racked up a couple of good wins over the last few weeks. So they'd definitely be favourites tonight. For us, it's just about trying to be consistent week to week. And we've had a lot of injuries, not that every squad has, but we've got a bit of a better depth than we did last year. And I think that's sort of keeping us close, but it's not getting us over the line in those tight games.
Okay then, right, so now you've picked a pretty tooled up back line, but call it the meteorologist in me. I've got a feeling that the forwards are going to have a big say-so on where the victory goes tonight, and there's a lot of fresh faces in there.
Oh no, we're going to throw the ball around. Just because it's about we'll throw the ball around. Yeah, of course the conditions will play their part in the game, but I think we'll still have some endeavour about how we play, and obviously I say it every time we meet, Jay, it's about the forward pack and a tight 5 when you rugby matches, so we'll see how we get on there.
Righto, Alex. Okay, now let's talk about the opposition. You probably look at Durham through rose-tinted spectacles. Your 2 victories at the end of last year left a sweeter taste in the mouth after a hard year. Do you harbour that? Do you use that, or do you clean the slate?
I think they'll be using it definitely tonight. But as I said, I definitely believe that they're on a roll at the moment. They've had some tough games. They beat Bath away. They beat the close one against Loughborough, I think, as well. So they're definitely the favourites tonight. So we have to make sure we're on our game, and it'll be even harder because there will be a little bit of edge. You know, we were sort of the whipping boys last year, and to beat them back to back at the end of last season, if I was Alex and his team, I know what I'd be saying to my fellas, that's for sure.
Well, by the sounds of things, we've got a cracking game ahead of us. So, Alex, thank you, and I wish you the best.
Yeah, cheers, thanks.
Okay, wonderful to hear a couple of real honest interviews there from the two Alexes, giving a great reflection and some perspective on the purpose of the league. I'm joined again by Chris Campbell. We're going to catch up with Chris in a second, but I can feel the teams coming out very, very shortly. So let's talk you through the teams. Nottingham Trent, they call on no less than 14 players with championship experience, with Nottingham centre pairing David Williams and Alex Goebel the standouts. They live together as well as forming part of a pub quiz team together. And 18-year-old Ed Morgan will be looking to unleash their unique marriage of brain and brawn in attack, but he'll be depending on upfront grunt from his behemoth pack for quality ball. An unfamiliar back row of Hall, Rafter and Leibster are at odds with the first three names on the team sheet of Jack, Broberg and McCarthy, who is top scorer with 5 tries this season. Tonight's opponents, as you just heard, start as favourites. Though Alex Key has shuffled the deck. Returning Falcon Ben Stevenson is straight in on the wing after his Premiership and Prem Cup exploits that included a try versus Harlequins. Rawson Rudd, he's their top scorer, while new recruit Kipper Fawcett retains the 10 jersey in place of injured Paddy McJewell. The pack has a familiar feel to it, though captain Colin Markham rotates out for Henry Permain, who has 3 tries in 2 games, and Jamie Anderson is fresh from winning the Safari Sevens in Kenya with the legendary Samurai International. Plenty of firepower from the benches, as we just mentioned. The standouts coming on the Durham side with Charlie Wilson and another Sevens expert, Charlie Sporforth, returning from Dubai Sevens, having featured for the England Royals in the Open International. What excitement to call upon from the benches. Plenty of Nottingham players on the Trent bench too. So when the cavalry comes, it'll be rampant as we see Durham trot out in their traditional, their unmistakable, their historic Palatinate jerseys. Chris Campbell, how do you feel about this game tonight? Durham, a very, very tough prospect.
They are. It's a game we've been excited in for a long time, especially after our 2 wins up there towards the back end of last season. They've got a fantastic squad, Durham, including some of the experiences you've listed there. Maybe the one player coming from Dubai will find it a little bit tougher this evening when he comes on. But yeah, very excited to get this one underway.
Excellent. So Kipper Fawcett to kick us off for Durham, playing left to right in their traditional Palatinate, pouched by the Nottingham Trent forwards in their shocking pink in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. It's 6th versus 8th, and plenty to play for in the middle of the table as Nottingham look to exit through a box kick from Alex Crocker, the Island 20s scrum half. He goes long and finds Fitzharding, the back row, but there's been an infringement earlier in the play, the referee calling it back.
Let's go then, play smart. Great start, Sam. Nice boys.
Push him up.
Phil, hey, make sure. Yeah, make sure. Chase it.
And a penalty conceded very early in a cheap way for Trent to exit their danger zone, Chris.
Yeah, it always settles teams nicely if they just get that opportunity to get some early field position. The Trent guys haven't had to work that hard for that one. I'm sure Durham and their coaching staff will be really disappointed with that. First line out of the day.
First line out of the day, and a chance for all the Trent diehards to see their #1 weapon, the driving maul, the one that has yielded so many tries this season already. It goes astray though, and it's cleared up very nicely by that man Adamson that we mentioned in the build-up. He's absolutely rapid, but he showed his his good hands in cleaning up that mess and putting Durham on the attack as it Fawcett feeds it out wide. Rawster and Rudd, that looks like, stepping inside. He's been moved back to centre, having featured on the wing a number of times in recent games. Fawcett holds on.
Use it.
Carry by Bowerman.
No hands, 3, lost. Go, Tommy.
Colin marshalling his forwards, but it goes to Tom Lewis on this occasion, the fullback stepping into the line. The Trent defence holding firm.
No hands, 3.
Little nibble from McCarthy, but Durham come away with it, and that's a big hit in the midfield. The home crowd like it, and a penalty comes from it. Strong defence. The first time they've been tested, and Trent coming out on top.
Area the Trent guys we've looked at quite a lot this week. We had the referee Tim Howard a few weeks ago against Bath, and he gave a number of penalties out the breakdown for exactly that, for holding on. Durham will probably be fairly happy with how their attacking sets have started there. They've had lots of options off the ball, tipped on once or twice, and had the options there as well. So I'm sure they'll be pretty happy with how that got going, but not giving the penalty away.
Well, I'll tell you what, taking a look at referee Tim, I wouldn't like to meet him at the breakdown. He is a well-built referee, if I may say so, and looks like he could clamp himself over a ball and cause a real nuisance. But his role is to marshal it, not to be a nose at it tonight. And it's resulted in Trent having another line out, this time from the opposite side of the field. Similar position, just on the outskirts of the 22. They'll want it to sing a little bit sweeter this time. They go to the front, and it's easy ball, and they build the maul. A sluggish start, but they have some momentum now. JJ Broberg, a try scorer last week from this very same weapon, controlling it at the back before it's spoilt by Durham, but cleaned up by Crocker. McCarthy at the base, picks, goes. His sizable frame wrestled to the floor.
Hold it there, hold it there. Use it!
Slow ball once more. Trent happy to be patient on this left side of the pitch, still outside the 22.
Away 6.
McCarthy felled by Fitzharding before Morgan finds himself a little at sea, steps back inside. They still have the ball.
One, make sure you come through the gate.
An imperious defence from Durham at the moment. There's no way through for Trent. They're giving it to their big runners, but there's an answer every time at the moment from Durham. But the patience and continuity is still impressive from Trent. Either attack or defence is going to crack at some time soon, and it's Trent who crack with a knock-on, and it's sent long into the backfield for the chasing Harry Graham. Another senior Nottingham player. Finding Max Craven, who finds space. And Durham's far left, Tom Lewis, clears things up, but tackled around the ankles. And this is a long passage of play for the ball to be in, Chris.
Yeah, it is, and won the penalty now again for the same offence as last time. Trent will be disappointed on that first attack. They were very patient, as you say there, Joe. But from that initial maul, the height wasn't quite right. They had 3 guys splinter off who really probably should have worked harder to get back round. This will need to be improved effort from no doubt what will be attack from the maul again here.
You're a demanding sports performance manager, I'll give you that, Chris. This time the penalty goes tighter into the corner. And Trent find themselves 10 metres from the Durham line, and real questions are going to be asked here, especially if we see that maul built a little more securely this time, Chris, as you wanted.
I like to describe myself as a maul and scrum connoisseur as opposed to a demanding performance manager. Always the best part of the game.
Well, they go to the front once again, and once again it's taken by Scott Hall. But the handbrake's on at the moment. Durham providing a speed bump. The referee's called 1 stoppage, so Trent will only have 1 crack. They still have momentum. It looked like it was going to be a break from the side, but it's brought down now. The referee's arms out for a penalty, so it's going to be a free shot for Trent. A little dab over the top into the dead ball area, but a bit too much mustard on that. It trickles over, and the referee will come back for the penalty for the ball being illegally dragged down.
Momentum had stopped, which means why you're staying on the pitch.
It'll be interesting to see what Trent do here, Chris.
Yeah, I imagine they'll probably go same again. We haven't had a scrum yet in the game. Haven't seen how it goes. Ed Morgan has put it in the corner. Slightly better maul that time. The work rate a little bit better from the guys who are a little bit wider out on it. I'm sure Alex Crocker will still be looking for a little bit more length on the ball, just to give him those options to move as we get close to the try line.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Durham's tactic is here. They haven't competed for the first 3 line-outs. They've been happy to try and counter Trent's driving maul. They stopped it initially before the nudge came on from Trent, so will they try and spoil this time? It's going to the front, it's easy ball. But if they miss it, then they're fighting an uphill battle. See Alex Key there. Pleased with his team's performance so far this season. We heard from him speaking about how they've only lost to 2 different teams and they want to keep it that way, but Trent at the moment asking serious questions.
Absolutely.
Over there.
Seb Cecil down there, Chris, he's an influential player for you.
He is. Seb has been one of our real success stories. He came to us actually from the University of Nottingham a couple of years ago, and his development as a player has been really significant. He's now a massive part of Neil Fowlkes' plans in the Nottingham Rugby Championship team, and he works so hard, and he's a really superb individual as well. We couldn't be happier for the development work he's getting through.
So Seb Cecil in the line out as an option. They've gone to the front every time with Scott Hall. They go to Jacob Turner this time, and it's a great shunt from Durham, pushed him to the side, but Trent have come round the corner. The referee's taking a look as it goes down. He says they're just short. Crocker is going to try and maestro this, but the forwards are shoving him out the way. They want to take this score. It's their hard work that's got them to 1 metre short. Ball spurts out. They continue to go open, eking the centimetres out. Again, they're chopped. It's another effort, closer this time. They just can't find a way through. Huge defence of Durham.
Use it!
They try and spoil.
Durham defending this well, keeping really tight together, body heights low.
They think they've scored. The referee disagrees, they're still short. But finally, they dive across after 10, 15 efforts. The man who's been taking the ball at the front, securing the platform for that drive, Scott Hall, gets across. It was simple as they come. Everybody knew their role. And Scott Hall opens the scoring, and it's been a promising opening 10 for Nottingham Trent.
Yeah, some really patient rugby from the forwards there. They had a number of goes that it would have been very easy for that composure to have been lost. Durham worked really hard in defence. They kept the connections there as long as they could, but it was a deserved try in the end, and well finished by the forwards.
A lot of upfront grunt, presenting Max Craven with the opportunity to add the extras. An 80% record from the tee since taking over the duties in round 4. 18 points to his name for the season. Can he make it 20? He certainly can, with a sweet strike that sends Nottingham Trent into the lead. 7 points to 0 in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. Trent could not have asked for a better start, Chris.
No, it started very, very well. Managed to earn 2 really important penalties out of the referee. The conditions on the field, I mean, the referee's decision making is going to be crucial to the final outcome of this. But I'm sure when Durham get the ball in hand, they will be dangerous. They look pretty good in their first attacking set, and they get the ball back here.
Well, that's an error from the kickoff, and it spills out wide to that man Ben Stevenson, who replies immediately. The returning Falcons soaring down the left flank to present an equalising chance for Rawston Rudd from the tee. Trent with the error, and Durham utterly ruthless.
That's what they describe as a coach killer sometimes. It's the golden rule: when you've just scored, you win the ball and you get back down the other end as quickly as possible, and it couldn't have gone much worse. But very well played, Durham. They sniffed an opportunity, they've taken it very, very well.
Well, very generous in your appraisal of Durham's opportunism, but as you said, a coach killer there for Nottingham Trent. You often hear about the kickoff being the most vulnerable time for teams because they're distracted from the elation of getting across the whitewash, and Trent coming a cropper there as Rawston Rudd lines up his conversion attempt. A 58% record, but he has been almost faultless in the last 2 games. Can he continue his streak? He pulls it just to the left of the upright, so Nottingham Trent still lead 7 points to 5 against Durham University. 12 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. It's going to be Trent to kick off, and we might finally get a chance to see Durham with the ball in hand. The one time they had it for 2 seconds and they were across the line, Chris.
They were. Alex Key, their coach, will be absolutely delighted with that, and they've done what Trent couldn't do, secured that restart.
Thank you. No.
So secured nice and safely just on the outside of the 22, and they decide to carry with their back row.
13. Good.
Taking the ball
Use it!
further centre to the field, and Collins puts the boot into the night sky. But that is a mistake from Collins, straight out from the box.
Wait for the ball to be lifted, please.
Remonstrations from Jack Headley, but there's no complaints from where I'm seeing. They received the ball on the outside the 22, they carried further out, and another coach killer, Chris.
Absolutely is. Interesting to see where Trent go off this line out. Obviously they've mauled off the first 3, a little bit further out on this occasions, and there's Goebel and Williams out there in the midfield channels. They'll be itching to get their hands on the ball. The fact Jacob Ralph's in at 7 probably means they're going to maul it.
And maul they do, and this is a good one. Generating speed right from the get-go. There's been a breakaway on the left, but the ball's still at the back. As JJ Broberg has a little burst, dragged down. They're 15 metres out. Runners coming left, right and centre. The pink jerseys want the ball. What a line, what a tackle. This is great intensity attacking the Durham line. McCarthy goes in at 9. He finds Hall, the try scorer.
Hands off the floor.
Williams, play scrum half now. Where is Crocker? Out of the play at the moment. No, he's back. He finds McCarthy. The huge man mountain frame stopped by 2 Durham defenders. A little bit of footwork, but Durham are a match to it. Hall again, out the back to Williams, who finds Goebel, who's going to put the ball over the top, but it's just beyond the grasp of Trent's number 8, Jack Leibster, the man who's returning from placement. Was about to return with a try, but Goebel's pass just a little too far beyond his fingertips, and a let-off for Durham.
Yeah, I think when Goebel has a look at that again, I think he may have been able to go for that himself. There was a big hole in front of him, and it was a risky pass to make out to Branco in these conditions.
Backwards.
First line out from Durham doesn't quite go to script, but they end up with the ball, and Colin boxes into play, and it's a chance for Trent to counter. What can they do from this range? Well, they kick, it's charged down. Rawston Rudd picks it up, he shows, he fends, he's away. Has he got any support? He's still going, he doesn't need the support. He's dragged down just shy of the line. Trent are trying to spoil. Collins in at 9. He's cleaned out the way. It's illegal. Is that going to be a yellow card? The referee, Tim Alec, goes straight to the pocket. It didn't look like there was anyone at the breakdown for Durham, and it could be a contentious call for a crucial player like Williams. But what a break from Rawston Rudd.
It was a superb break. You do not underestimate the skill and power that break has taken from Rawston Rudd. He fended off 3 or 4 guys there, was managing to maintain his feet. Trent did well to get back and cut him down, but unfortunately when you give away penalties in that part of the field, in that sort of scenario, it is nearly always going to be a yellow card.
12 in line with me, please.
So Rawston Rudd, the man who made the break, gets the chance to take 3 points from the tee from nigh on in front of the post. And you'd bet any money for him to slot it through to give Durham a 1-point lead with 17 minutes gone. Easy as you like, he splits the poles and Durham lead in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. But one game that was not being brought to you by us and Yoti took place down in Llanrumney today, where Cardiff have registered their 2nd victory of the season. They have thumped Leeds Beckett 30 points to 3, a penalty try in the final play of the game, a bonus point in the bag, and elevated from bottom to 9th. Leeds Beckett, now the basement dwellers, and under pressure after a string of losses, but Cardiff really coming into their own in the last few weeks, and that is a huge win that is going to set up an even bigger derby at the Arms Park against Cardiff Met, which we will be bringing to you live this time next week. What a result, what a league, Chris.
I mean, we knew Cardiff would come into this league strong, and they've proved exactly that. I can't say I'm surprised at all by that result, the way they've been going. Tell you what, it's making things exciting as we get towards Christmas.
It certainly is, and it makes this result even more crucial. If Trent can take a victory, they'll stretch away from Leeds Beckett and Cardiff, who are now beginning to find some form. It makes that victory that you had over them with such ease here even more pertinent in the wider scheme of the table. As we see Trent knock on, Durham put in. We're going to see the first scrum. 2 well-drilled packs. This is going to be fascinating.
If you call hands on,
it is absolutely, and we were pretty fortunate when Cardiff came up here. I think we managed to hit them pretty cold. I don't think they were quite off the bus, and we managed to score 3 or 4 tries very, very early on in the game. But after that, it was very even. They came back very, very strong, and we feel a little bit fortunate to come out of that with the result that we did. And it's going to be a tough old game when we go down there, I'll tell you that.
Okay, let's go.
I think it's going to be a tough old league for everybody involved, very much mirroring the Premiership table that we're seeing at the moment. 6th to bottom, who can you pick to go down? We're not going to talk about relegation at this stage of the season. That's far from our mind. We're just enjoying the rugby and enjoying Cardiff's resurgence as in their maiden season here in BUCS Super Rugby, as the packs go down for the first time. And it's Colin to put it in a little crookedly, as is tradition with all number 9s. But Durham looking in the ascendancy. They don't hold it in, they go out, force it, put some hands on it. Lewis runs the line, he collides somewhat with his player Matt Welsh, but Durham have the ball still. Ben Fowles, captain this evening in the absence of Colin Markham. A terrific leader, Colin darts, but the gap closes as soon as it opens.
Use it!
Patient play from Durham, but it's a scrappy one. Rawston Rudd passes to his centre partner. Welsh, he breaks through the first tackle, dragged down by Gaetano Branco, the Portuguese international. Lewis with some smart hands with the offload. Again carrying short from the forwards. Force it. Out the back to Rawston Rudd. To Welsh. He steps inside, he sees a gap. Dragged down by the covering back row. Fawcett dictating again. He carries this time. Colin to one of the back rows with lovely deft hands, finds the supporting run of Scott Baumann. And a sensational and crucial turnover from his opposite number, Jamie Jack. What timing, because Trent were marching back. Durham had the wind in their sails. The incredible play from the front row.
Yeah, superb work from Jamie there. I mean, that attack was starting to really cause Trent some concern. Durham are just keeping the ball available in that contact area really well. They're not getting that many offloads away, but they're making the Trent defenders think in the tackle. They got one away there, which allowed just that little breakthrough. And I think the Trent defenders need to work harder to get the guy on the run quicker to shut that off.
Numbers, that's 5, 6, 6.
Trent get a modest amount of purchase from their kick to touch, shall we say. But it is their throw-in. Broberg with the ball and the towel. A try last week for Broberg in the loss to Met. 3 tries this season as well. Cecil McCarthy, 5 tries this season. It gives you an indication of the strength of their driving maul and how much they depend on it in attacking areas. But for the time being, they're setting themselves an exit platform.
9, stay on, look at the AR.
With Crocker calling the shots. And he passes. Forwards come round the corner, but they're met immediately.
There's just a little difference here in the two sides attacking play. Trent's carries is a little bit more static. Durham's are emotional a little bit more, which has given them that bit of a bit more go forward so far.
That's a nice alleviating kick into the Durham backfield. Tom Lewis looks to clear long, but it slides off his boot, and it is a line out to Trent on the 10-metre line in the Durham half. We've seen plenty of line-outs, which is right up Trent Street, that's for sure. It's been ticking like a Swiss watch so far. Can they keep it on time to try and get back into the lead? 23 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. Ball goes up again. There's been no contest at this line out so far in the match. Surely a tactic that has come down from the coaches. They're happy to try and fight the drive as Trent progress to the 22. Trent rides the tackle, but the player is isolated. He's turned over. A penalty for Durham and a chance to escape.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how both teams adapt to the way the referee's refereeing the game. As per when we played Bath a few weeks ago, the referee Tim Allett is giving a lot of penalties for holding on. He's allowing a real contest at the breakdown. Both sides have got the right side of that, but it really is becoming a crucial part of the way this game is going.
Yes, Tim Allett, you identified very early in the game, hot on the breakdown, and he's proving true to your word at the moment, but consistent with each team. The set piece, excellent for both sides at the moment. It's Durham's turn to try and steal a march and turn the screw. They break away through Henry Pearmain, the scorer of tries in recent times. Lovely footwork on the boy. He's not afraid of a show and go, but doing some of the nasty, greasy stuff that second rows have previously been famed for. And he allows Colin to send the ball high, long, steepling into the night sky, but it's fielded with ease by Craven. He begins the counter-attack before a massive hit in the middle. And there's numbers here for Trent, but they're pounced upon early.
Jack Hadley did brilliant there defensively. He just pushed up off his wing, cut the pass off.
Cecil McCarthy working hard as always. In fact, the whole front row popping up, left, centre, right, to carry and be latched through gaps. It's a muscular performance from both sides. Impressive defences, keeping out waves of attack that forces Trent to go for the kick. And Fawcett's under it, who feeds Lewis, who loves to counter from this range. He steps inside. He's met by 3 pink defenders. Not rolling away though.
He was still in the way.
From Jamie Jack, a turnover under his belt, but also a penalty. Great to see the crowd in the background there when it was teeming down with rain earlier. It was one man and his dog. In fact, the dog didn't even fancy it and he didn't come. But fortunately, the rain has gone away and we've got a nice hearty crowd to cheer on this match, which is finally poised at 7 points to 8. 26 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture. Our eyes there on Kipper Fawcett, the Kiwi import, who had a bit of a torrid debut away at Cardiff Met. His leg was heavily strapped at the time. We don't see that now, but he performed well in the 10 jersey last week, performing comfortably this evening. Maybe we're going to see some magic from him. We'd love to, that's for sure, as he comes with a big reputation. The first line out, miscued. Well, miscued. Butterfingers from the man Durham sent up.
Advantage over.
As Trent find themselves in familiar territory, in familiar form, carrying through the forwards to try and burst their way out of their half.
It is, and it'll be interesting just to see if, with Dave Williams now back on, as the ball's been knocked on, about whether they do try and play the game a little bit wider, but they're going to have to wait for that opportunity.
Well, we would love to see a replay of Fitzharding melting the Trent player in the midfield there, forcing the knock on. Here it comes.
Yeah. Okay, come on. There's your mark.
It happened just before that, believe me at home, folks. We'll see if we can get another look of that. It's presented Durham with a prime bit of real estate in the Trent half. Scrum, centre field, just outside the 22. Options to the left, options to the right. As we look at this tackle again, folded in half like a deck chair. Kipper Fawcett, the man sticking the shoulder in the sweet spot of the Trent carrier. My apologies to you, Kipper.
Technically superb tackle from Fawcett there, and this sets up not far off the perfect attacking position, right under the post, on around and about the 22. This should excite the Durham back line.
It's a stable scrum from both sets of forwards. They go to the left. Fawcett on the ball, one-handed. He finds Rawson on the switch,
6 away.
who juggles, then fends, then's dragged to the floor. Colin goes left again. Per Main, lovely hands to his second row partner, Marin Hoos, the big Dutchman, announcing himself into the game. Durham continued to carry forward. Fawcett on the ball, inside, doesn't find his man. It's cleaned up by Stevenson, who puts the ball over the top. He's taken out, but was the player committed? The referee is bringing the play back to a knock-on earlier in the play. A little glimpse of Fawcett conducting the back line and his forwards around in there. He missed the inside ball. But Durham playing with some nice ambition. They're finding gaps in the defence.
They're looking dangerous, and they're just able. Their ruck speed is just that little bit quicker than Trent to getting in their attack, which is allowing the forwards to come onto the ball a little bit better than the Trent forwards are, which is then when they move the ball just that bit wider. And neither team's playing really wide tonight because of the conditions. Just gives the midfield that little bit more time, which is helping Rawson Rudd in particular in making that ground through the carries. I mean, it's hard work tonight. You're having to really do the work to get your opportunities, but it does feel like they're coming for Durham.
When the rain came pouring down, there was the fear that this could be a slightly turgid one, but the pitch has held up well, and both sets of players handling the ball very deftly. We're seeing some nice tips from the forwards, Trent holding on to the ball well. The only time you seeing the turnovers is often when boot goes to ball.
It is, and it says a lot about the players, in particular in their coaching teams, in terms of the skill sets they've developed in these players. In terms of the pitch, we're very fortunate here to play on the fantastic facility at Lady Bay, the home of Nottingham Rugby. The staff here do a huge amount of work to get this pitch in good nick, often for 2 games a week, and it's making it much more interesting than it maybe would have been a few years ago on the mud baths.
Well, long may it continue. And Durham are liking this turf up here. This particular patch, 10 metres out to the left of the uprights. Attacking ball. It goes back to Fowles, who carries. He finds Rawston Rudd on the line, but the pass is just behind him. That was a gilt-edged opportunity. If Fowles could have found Rawston Rudd, maybe he started his run a little prematurely. You can see on Fawcett's face, he knew that that was a great chance for Durham to stretch this 7-8 lead they hold with 30 minutes gone in BUCS Super Rugby, brought to you by Yoti, where we've had some stunning results already tonight. Cardiff University 30, Leeds Beckett 3, Cardiff off the bottom of the table. Leeds Beckett replace them in 10th position, but at 2 p.m. this afternoon, Hartbury sent a message that it will be ringing in the ears of everybody in the league, defeating Exeter 25-0 at Topsham. A bonus point win, the first time that any side has been nilled at home in BUCS Super Rugby.
That's a great stat. That's a fantastic stat.
I can't take the credit for it, unfortunately. Dave Rogers, our resident league stato, delivered that to me. Not so much out of professional love for the league, but more in rubbing my old Exeter alumni face in the mud, I think you'll find, Chris. But a fantastic stat, nevertheless. Who would have thought it? Certainly not me, and I think there is a sizable slice of humble pie being sent from Hartbury to my home address for when I get back to London. They'll be enjoying themselves going north on the M5 as we speak. Yeah,
they will be. It's a great programme down there. It's really impressive what John Barnes and his coaching staff have managed to pull together, and yeah, I'm sure they will be enjoying it.
An interesting line out there. Trent didn't initially commit as Durham built the drive. Then a Trent player came flying in to knock the legs out of the most promoted Durham player. The referee said it was fine, and Durham are on the attack. Intricate move in the midfield, gains no yards. Stevenson on the ball. Good leg drive from one of the big men, scampering in the wide channels. Freddie Davies out the back, an intercept opportunity, and it's pounced by Alex Goebel. Dragged down, but he offloads to Williams, who's back from the yellow card.
Off feet, blue.
Trent pouring through. Durham at 6 and 7, but a huge hit in the midfield, almost dislodges them all. They go back inside through Rafter. Trent with the bit between their teeth here. Durham have reorganised well. Big hits from Fowles, upsets the play, and here's a chance now. Fly hack through by Fitzharding. It's fancy footwork. Is he first to the ball? The referee calls time on the play to consult with his touchline.
Mike, any reason I can't want to try?
Fitzharding flying through. We've got the perfect view in the house. Oh, that is a tight one to call, but the referee has awarded it. I would love to see that replay again, Chris. Two Trent players converging on the ball with Fitzharding, but Fitzharding getting the decisive touchdown after a massive hit in the midfield from Ben Fowles. Here we go again, the close-up. They steam in. Oh. I don't think that we have the capability of slowing it down, but it's by the by because the ref has awarded it. It's Nottingham Trent 7, Durham 13, the kick to come.
You know what, I was on the field with the referee Tim before the game having a chat with him, and he jokingly said, I can have your mobile number, so if we need to go to the TMO we know where to go, and that would have been exactly the one to have gone for. He used his assistant referee as well to make that decision. He didn't rush into it, but massively frustrating for Trent, having a Goebel made that fantastic intercept and then end up down the other end.
Here we go, slowed right down.
Gut instinct says Harry Graham got there first.
There's an argument to say that Harry Graham did get his hand on it, but the decision has been made. Durham lead 15 points to 7. Ignore our scoreboard for the time being, but the time is true. 35 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby match. It's been a cracking fixture so far. A lot of quality, defences on top, but both teams looking to unlock those defences and score tries as Trent look to close these arrears. Fought through by Caetano Branco, the Portuguese international. He's never tasted defeat in a Portugal jersey after victories over Switzerland and Moldova. As Williams fumbles in the midfield,
2 knock-ons.
and the referee calls for a scrum.
Yeah, the accuracy just isn't quite there in the Trent attack. I mean, but what both sides are starting to show now is, despite the fact it is wet underfoot, the ball will have a lot of moisture on it. These players are good enough to try and play. That pass just a little bit behind Davy Williams.
The scrums have been solid as a rock this evening at Lady Bay. The ball in the hands of Jacob Collin. He's been a star performer for this Durham side throughout the first half of this season. We find ourselves in round 10 already, can you believe it? And Collin really has been pulling the strings. If Durham had an orchestra, there's no doubt he'd be the maestro holding the baton. They Durham have been picking from the base through fouls. Collin decides to distribute, force it, show and go. Finds a soft shoulder, Welsh on the inside, Fitzharding the try scorer in support. Durham beginning to get their offload game purring now as a lazy penalty from Jack Liebster. Not rolling away. He got himself into a real tangle in that breakdown, couldn't get himself away from the ball. Durham milked it, and this looks like it's going to be another 3 points for the Palatinate.
It is, and when you fall on that side of the ball, the referees are looking to give that penalty. I think Trent are now going to be at the point where they're itching for that half-time whistle to come. They're just getting on the wrong side of this game. There's some real momentum with Durham. They're earning their points, not maybe in the most traditional senses, but they are earning them. And Alex O'Dowd will have some tough words at half-time to try and turn this one round, as it could go 18-7.
Come on. Let's go, boys.
As the flags are raised, confirmation that the score has been stretched to Nottingham Trent 7, Durham 18 in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. 38 minutes gone. Durham beginning to really find their feet in this game. Their offloading play is sumptuous at times, as they gather the restart, not cleanly, but that won't bother them. They'll be looking to see out the final 2 minutes of this half with this 11-point cushion intact. As it's a fumble from Craven at the back, I think it was. And maybe they're looking to stretch this lead, force it, distributes it wide. Rawson Rudd with the big long ball, an intercept opportunity is shelled and cleared up. Stevenson, the first try scorer, on the ball, bustles his way through the tackles. He's a tricky man to drag down, but they do it eventually as Colin finds Permain. How he'd love another try, coming back into the team, having started on the bench last week. Fawcett growing into the game, but that's a loose one. A fly hack from Durham, a knock on from Trent. Referee says play on. Fawcett, finds Headley, who is in acres, and the line begging. He's got a really emotional face, Headley. We saw when the kick went out on the full earlier in the game, he was indignant, and there he feels he's robbed as well. It's written all over his face.
He was. I think there were no knock-ons there from both sides in that little fly hack. The both sides made on the floor. This may be one of the first puttings I think Trent have had to the scrum today, as we enter into added on time at the end of first half. Trying to work something out of this and back into the Durham half, I think, will be an absolute priority.
Absolutely. As our clock approaches the 40-minute mark, it is an estimation. It's pretty tight on the referee's watch. But don't be surprised if you see Trent play a couple more phases than you'd expect as they look to wind down the referee's clock, which is the all-important one. And as he said, desperate to get into the sheds. The ball spurts out. It's a loose one. Goes to Graham. A man who looked aggrieved at the Fitzharding try, thinking that he got his hand down first. And Trent go back to type. Big carries in the middle for forwards. Hall offloads to Go Ball, who's scored the famous last-minute winning try here against Loughborough in the first round. Crocker puts a cute one over the top. It trickles out into touch. Referee Tim Allett says that's enough for this 40. What a 40 we've had. I've loved every second. Trent less so, because it's Durham who are leading. Nottingham Trent 7, Durham University 18 in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti here at Lady Bay. Chris Campbell, how do you sum up that 40?
Durham have certainly worked their way into the game. Trent definitely dominated the early phases, but Durham, as they managed to get the handling game going, they've been offloading well, keeping the ball available. Some might say that their tries were a bit fortunate. Others would say they've been worked on by pressure, and they've deserved them, which I certainly think is the fair thing to do. Especially that second try where they put a lot of pressure on the Trent defence, forced a mistake in the tackle, and then hacked through. Even if it was a little bit fortunate to be given, but you've got to credit the referee for making the decisions.
Well said there, Chris. In this BUCS Super Rugby fixture brought to you by Yoti, let's take a look at those tries from the first half. We were treated to 3 of them, and it was Nottingham Trent who broke the watershed first. It was controlled play round the corner persistently from the pack. They say pressure, it either cracks pipes or creates diamonds, and eventually the pressure told on the Durham defence, who cracked, and it was Scott Hall who was the gem coming up with the try for a perfect start.
Yeah, the Trent team are becoming known for this sort of try. There's been a number of them scored this season across the back. I mean, it's a real skill in itself. It shows real patience, real determination. But then, unfortunately for the team in pink, this happened.
An absolutely calamitous restart for the men in pink. Saw Marin Hughes gobble up the loosely collected kick-off. And who was on his left shoulder? None other than arch try scorer himself, Ben Stevenson, the last man you want the ball going to from the opposition, to streak over in the left and bite back immediately before a really hard-fought period of play in the centre of the field, oscillating between the 22s of Trent and Durham, was ended by a bone-crunching hit from Ben Fowles. And Fitzharding was the man with the smarts and the footwork to fly hack his way into the Trent dead ball area. I'm looking at your face, Chris. You think that Harry Graham got there first, but the referee gave it to Harding, and that put Durham into a 15-7 lead with Rawstrand Rudd's kicks before he added a further penalty in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture brought to you by Yoti.
Yeah, I think I credit the referee for making the decision there. It would have been very easy for him to have decided not to have given something, and referees get a lot of criticism for not making decisions. So it's different people are going to see that in different ways. I think Harry Graham got there first. Other people will think the Durham player did as well, and that's the way sport goes. That's why that gives us something to talk about on the way home, doesn't it?
It sure does. So we've got a cracking game here at Lady Bay. 3 tries already, plenty more meat pies in the offing for the second 40. But I'll tell you what, there were some crackers last week in round 9, so let's check them out.
got Wilkins there, which isn't easy to do, let me tell you.
The missed ball, it's a show and go from Henry Bartley!
Tries of the week. I don't know which sort of try would.
Some fantastic tries there, and we've had some unbelievable results and tries here in this round. But as you can see on the screen, and you would have heard me mention them a few times in the commentary, all this would not be possible without our sponsors, Yoti. We would not be coming down your optic fibre and bringing you these wonder tries. So let's catch up with them and see what they can offer you otherwise.
It was so much easier because I had already set up on the app about 3 months ago actually when it first came to the island.
I really like how simple it was to use.
It's the kind of convenience we want in this holidays that we live in.
Like, you don't really want to carry your passport around on night out, you're always going to have a phone on you.
The convenience to be able to go up and get my phone and just scan a thing.
It's just easier, you have all your stuff in one place.
And it makes life a lot easier when you're trying to prove your age and quite versatile as well.
Great to hear from Yoti. I can't encourage you enough to jump on their site and see what they can do for protecting your digital identity. Now, we're here at Nottingham Trent. They are the host team. We're here at Lady Bay, and we've heard plenty about how wonderful their programme is. But BUCS had their cameras up in the northeast with Alex Key and Colin Markham earlier in the week to hear about their programme.
So I started back down in Wales, went to school in Llandudno College, then went on to play semi-professional with Llandudno Drovers. At that point then I made a decision that I wanted to combine both studies, looking to the future, and high performance rugby, and then found my way up here in Durham.
Degree-wise, it's one of the top universities in the country, so the degree's a really substantial degree, has some real value to it. From a rugby point of view, we've been around the top group for some time. We, have over the last decade won at Twickenham, won Sevens, won various things, and a number of players have gone on to professional rugby career. But whilst they've gone on to pro rugby, they've also got a good degree in the back pocket.
It's Markham hanging around, little dab through to chase, it could be on here, and it is! Miles Ralston-Rudd chases the kick, he's had a great 15 minutes.
You can play rugby and also concentrate on your degree, so you've always got a kind of backup plan, and then if you do want to take rugby more seriously after university, you might have that option.
Lucky enough to have great support from the academy down in Bristol, Mike and Beanie, and also the support from Pat as well has been really good, managing to continue my studies as well as then playing when needed.
In the end, a rugby career can last, top age of 35. You need to look ahead of that, and combining rugby with great academics is the way to look forward.
And Durham win here under the lights.
aside your degree, there's a fairly good programme here that allows you to be as close to be a pro player whilst doing a degree.
People have realised that you actually can go to university and then still play professional rugby, and I think that it opens up so many more doors. I definitely recommend to do it.
Great to see the historic rugby powerhouse Durham still churning out those top degrees and putting academics first and foremost, despite them playing a wonderful brand of rugby down here. And we were just chatting off microphone there, Chris, that Miles Rawston-Rudd, he's really impressed you, particularly his balance when he's running with the ball.
He is. He just looks very composed. The best players look like they have that little bit more time than everybody else. In the first 40 minutes tonight, that's how it seemed to him. He's just had that time and ability to make the decisions, whether that be to pass, whether it be to run, or whether that be to hand off, or whatever it was he's trying to do. I mean, when the incident which led to Davy Williams' yellow card, the break he made there, don't underestimate how hard it was for him to fend off that many defenders and then keep that composure.
So Rawston-Rudd with a quality 40 minutes under his belt, 3 kicks from 4 as well. As the teams are out on the field for this BUCS Super Rugby fixture brought to you by Yoti, it's Nottingham Trent to kick off. The ball in the hands of Ed Morgan, the young 18-year-old, a London Irish Academy product with a wonderful skill set. Is going to send this one steepling into the night sky. He goes to the right, and Henry Pearmain is underneath it to steal a few yards and set the platform for Durham to exit through Collins' right boot, as they have so many times, so soundly this game. But Trent fancy a counter as Harry Graham is taken high, but he wriggles through it, gets up, takes more yards. The referee will still be playing advantage, I'm sure. Yes, he is. His arm out, so a free shot, a chip over the top, but nothing comes of it. So we're back to the original penalty. Nothing malicious, just a bit of a lazy high arm. And I don't know about you, Chris, but watching the autumn internationals, a lot of the Prem, the European Cup is coming up. I feel that referees have softened their approach to high shots and shots in the air.
Yeah, it does appear they have, Tom, which actually goes against what World Rugby actually came out and said during the autumn internationals. I think a big part of it, and it's a fantastic kick down to the corner, is that no one wants to see big games decided by yellow and red cards, and that's a hard definition for the referees to make, because the number one objective is player safety, and the reason these laws are they are now is to do that. But I do also think we have now started to see a little bit of change in behaviour in the players. I think that the 2 weekends of Europe coming up will be the acid test of that, because that will be a really tough couple of weeks for the teams.
Line out off the top, unconventionally for Trent to release their backs, who come flooding through. Alex Goebel with the burst. They're 15 metres out. Crocker sends it wide. Durham potentially caught napping, expecting the drive. Jamie Jack, smash back. Crocker dictating things. McCarthy, another carry. Morgan finds Williams through the gap, who feeds inside to Catano Branco, and he gets Nottingham Trent right back into this fixture with 2 minutes gone of the second half.
Yeah, real change in tactic from Trent right at the start of the second half. I don't think they went off the top once from the line out in the first half. Straight off it there, when with dangerous runners such as Goebel, Williams, Graham, and try to score a Branco in the back line. It's really pleasing to see that. I think maybe the pitch, with the conditions improving, hasn't cut up as much as people thought. The ball is getting drier, no further rain has come down, and there was some real confidence in those runs from Goebel first, and then Williams going through, and we've got the game back on.
We certainly do, as Ed Morgan lines up to take this kick, which makes me think that maybe Max Craven has been replaced at half-time. Max Craven, who 5 days ago was sporting one of the most majestic mows you could ever wish for. This Nottingham Trent team have raised a ton of money off the field for the Movember cause, so much so that they've won Team of the Week from the Nottingham Trent Sports Union, so they need to be congratulated for that. It's so important to be doing good stuff off the field as well as on the field, Chris.
They did, and it's a great group here, and it's something I know that's very important to the team. What they will regret, though, is we did a brand new set of video shots for the team announcements halfway through the month, and they're going to stick with them for a little while.
Well, speaking of those announcers, the man who just juggled the ball, Cecil McCarthy, has a fantastic outtake on the Nottingham Trent Twitter, where he's doing the running man whilst clashing some imaginary symbols. I don't quite know what he's doing. I'm not down with the kids, but I implore you to jump online and check it out. Has the kick chase, sees Durham knock the ball on in contact. Trent in the ascendancy, the perfect start to this half. Alex Keelby kicking himself. We saw this against Cardiff Met only a couple of weeks ago, where Durham dominated the opening 40 and leaked an early try to change the game. He'll be hoping that history doesn't repeat itself.
Momentum is a massive part of a game of rugby, and having just scored just a few minutes ago, what happens off this next attacking set I think is massively important in terms of the context of the game, in terms of whether Trent can work themselves, might not be into a try scoring position, but down into the Durham half, put maybe pressure on their line out from a kick or something like that, really to make it hard for Durham to work themselves into the second half, because we saw in the first half that when they do get the ball, they are starting to look very dangerous.
Well, this break in play gives us the opportunity to catch up on all the goings-on that have been happening today. I've mentioned a couple of times, Hartpury, a magnificent away victory, 25-0 against Exeter, previously top of the table. Hartpury leapfrogged them. I cannot remember the last time anyone won at Topsham, so to nil Exeter with a bonus point sends some message out to the league. You can't see it on our graphic, but Cardiff registered their second win, 30 points to 3 against Leeds Beckett, whilst their Cardiff rivals lead 22 points to 7 at the moment, 10 minutes ago versus Northumbria. And Loughborough also nilled at home at the moment. That's only half-time, 13 points to Bath. Bath, a sensational victory away against Hartpury last week, looking to back it up with another big away win. But we're back to the action here at Lady Bay. A few of the Nottingham Trent Ultras on the sideline watching their scrum obliterated. I have not seen that in a long time, and Durham go wide. Welsh feeds Rawson Rudd, sells the dummy. He pumps out that telescopic fend once again. As Permain comes around the corner, latched on by Scott Bowerman, they take a few more yards. Collins darts, Lewis on the line, bursts through the first, bursts through the second, dragged down by Crocker. This is good from Durham, but an intercept once again opportunistic from Paul Gimeno, the Spanish Sevens flyer, who's probably come on for Max Craven in that half-time break. We'll be fascinated to see how he gets on. Brings the Palatinate charge to a halt. And the play is slowed right down. But it's a charge down. Branco, the try scorer, fortunately on hand to collect the ricochet. Colin will have another bite of the cherry. Again, Trent very short on blockers around the fringes. That's what's putting the pressure on Colin, and they're pretty lucky to get away with that just then.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that first one, Alex Crocker hadn't managed to get his blockers in place and get the length on the ruck. He just about managed to do on that second occasion, but you're absolutely right. We got away with it a little bit there, and the way the first half went with those opportunities opening up, you wouldn't be surprised if that bounced on the way. And there's just a bit of composure in that sort of area of the game, which just is lacking a little bit, just to allow the Trent team to work their way out and build the pressure back the other way.
It's been pretty much spot on the balls away.
Did we have penalty advantage from that scrum or not?
No. Do not? No, ball came out.
Trent's defence holding firm in this second half. And dare I say, a couple of cat burglars and pickpockets out in the back line at times for you guys. Some intercepts to break down this fluid Durham attack as they fly up.
Same? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on a day like today, a number of intercepts isn't that surprising, because both teams are still trying to play, but because the ground is a little bit wet, the ball is a little bit greasy, it just means it can't move through the hands, you know, quite as quickly as you would, and that just gives the defence those extra milliseconds, and that's all it requires to make a good call to push up out the line.
Freddie Davies hits his man, and Durham promptly put the maul into third gear, into fourth. They're advancing at a rate of knots, 5 metres out. They haven't been destroyed just yet. It breaks up a little bit. The ball's still in Durham hands. They fall just short. The referee's there, marshalling, making sure no infringement. But he's got his arm out. He's spotted something, and Trent are on the rocks here as Durham look to punish them with this free shot. Colin fishes it out. He goes wide, force it, puts on the toe for the crossfield. He finds Lewis, who collects and dots down for his second try in 2 games. The free shot being exercised by Kipper Fawcett, and Durham back with a bang.
Thanks, Frank.
We get a reverse angle of this maul, Chris. And Trent, they just didn't have any men in there defending it.
No, they weren't, and that's been a theme of a few of the line-out defences this evening, and with Durham managing to get not that much in front of them, but also some good length on it quickly. That was a really strong, unified drive. It looked like at one point it was going over, and maybe a little bit more composure when they got 10 metres out would have allowed them to do that. And then taking the pot with the kick crossfield under penalty advantage. It was quite a safe one. Trent was short of defenders out there, and again, Durham have done what they did in the first half. They get an opportunity, they take it.
Ruthless Durham pick up their 3rd try of the evening, and Rawston Rudd lines up the conversion. And it just pulls at the last minute across the face of the uprights. So that's 5 points to Durham, 23 in total against Trent's 14. 50 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. It's an enthralling game that's ebbing and flowing, with Trent getting themselves back in, but Durham always with a response at the moment as they go for the same kickoff routine to Ben Stevenson. So strong when he's hit initially, he finds that leg pump to steal those extra yards. And Colin again, bossing it from the base, booting long into the hands of Branco, who fancies a counter, and that's a big collision between 3 men in the midfield. Trent coming out on top and on the attack. Morgan, limited of options, put it on the boot, it was charged, but it comes back to him. Crocker. There's replacement Luke Brown. David Williams spots a gap, but the door is slammed shut by Bauman and Pearmain. Pearmain so impressive this game so far in defence and attackers. Fitzharding now wades in.
Miss the ball, don't play the 9.
Durham's defence with an answer to every Trent attack that's thrown at them, but Trent maintain the ball, and that's some lovely footwork out wide on the left to take them beyond the 10-metre line. And gaps beginning to open up as the Durham defence tires. Can Morgan find the gap? They go wide. Williams puts on the boot. That looks heavy. And it sure was going straight out. Not even a chance of landing in before touch. And a shame because Durham were on the rack a little bit there.
Yeah, some really good play down that left-hand side. Superb carry from Branco, beating a number of defenders. And Trent are now starting to do a little bit of what Durham managed to fess off, a bit of pace on the ball. By doing that, it stops that fast line speed, which Durham are really working hard to put in place. But Williams will be disappointed with that kick.
Yeah, we expect more from such a talented centre. Features predominantly on the wing for Nottingham Rugby. But he doesn't let himself down when he's wearing the 12 or 13 jersey. A hat-trick last season, a hat-trick already this year. The man knows where the try line is. But his kicking game escaping him for a blink just then. Which is why Baumann has his hands on the ball. Durham are moving around. And they're securing it in the air and building another drive. Less successful than their attacking one. It breaks apart and Baumann gets loose. The referee says their maul was disrupted illegally. Dragged down is the call from the referee as he ushers away the Waterman. A very officious performance.
Sort of soft penalty, that one. I think the Trent coaches will think it wasn't a particularly dangerous area. Durham had got a little bit of movement on that maul, but it wasn't going any particular distance. But Durham have been very, very good at working into these positions when they've had the opportunity.
A line out to Durham, a carbon copy of where they built their drive that led to the Lewis try. Miscued, sees it dragged down early. Stevenson goes first receiver and hits a gap. Again, lovely tips from the second rows from Durham. Marin Hughes. Lewis steps into first receiver, finds Ralston Rudd. Good tackle, drags him down early.
Use it!
Colin to Hughes, to Fawcett, to Fowles.
Tackle!
Fawcett again. He runs into a pink wall.
Not from there.
Lewis getting himself into the game more and more. Permain carries strongly. Stevenson picks up from the base.
Tackle release 20, 6 off.
Just 2 more yards. Did that look a bit forward? It makes no difference because it's been spilled. Fawcett's under pressure. That's Lewis. Oh, hit heavily on the floor by Alex Goebel. And Headley finally gets his chance with the ball in hand. He's been begging for it all night. In a position that probably isn't his cup of tea historically. But hungry as he is, he wins a penalty for the Palatinate.
I thought your man was up. I thought he was getting up.
Yeah, a little bit of desperation, I think, around that breakdown from Trent. They sniffed an opportunity, but unfortunately, when the player doesn't roll away, which is what the referee is penalised for, it doesn't really matter what come back next. The referee's always going to penalise that one first. Good pressure from Goebel and Williams there. And they would have felt their efforts would have deserved more, but they'll have to do it all again.
Thank you. 22, please, on the line.
Durham building increasing faith in their line out and drive. Send it up to the 22. But first,
time's off.
we'll see a substitution and a time for the players to regroup. Durham certainly bristling with a bit of confidence. Not only is the victory within their grasp, the bonus point as well. They've left bonus points in their last 2 games. They had a chance against Bath. They had a chance last week against Cardiff. Can they take one now as McCarthy bursts through and flattens Colin? He picks the ball back up, feeds to Baumann.
It was a good rip and he went forward. Relax.
And this is a a bitty part of the game, Chris. The quality that we've seen for the last 55 minutes is a little bit absent.
It is. There's a lot of whistle going here, which isn't the referee's fault. You can only referee what's in front of him. Jamie Jack there ripped the ball out of the tackle, but it went forward. In the meantime, I mean, there's still over 20 minutes to go, and you feel the game is still had got the opportunity for one team or the other, to take hold of it. Whether that's Durham taking an opportunity now to put themselves in a very, very strong position, or the breakaway the other end. And the way the game is going, you wouldn't be surprised to see us down the other end, very, very quickly, with the amount of intercepts and drop balls and big impacts we're having in the tackle, which is freeing the ball up a little bit today as well.
I'm not exactly clear what the cause is for this stoppage at the moment, but it's a conversation that's happening widely in the game about the number of breaks that are happening so that players can recover. You keep bigger players on longer. They can suck in a bit of diesel and squeeze a few extra minutes out of players. I'd like to see this moved along a little bit faster, but I'm sure there's a reason. Probably a tactical knee and a magic sponge, I'd say.
Yeah, there we go. Seb Cecil is just hobbling off with the NTU physio Mike Wicello there. Seb's had a strong game. He works so hard, both on and off the field. He's a real credit to the programme, and fingers crossed they can get him back on the field soon after that.
Well, the way he went off, it looks that his race may be run for this evening. 57 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. The ball in Jacob Collins' hands. Durham's put in on the 22 of Nottingham Trent. 3 tries in the bag already, searching for a bonus, but such were the fine margins they missed out on last season. They want to secure victory first. As the scrum takes a nosedive, the referee calls it up. We'll have a reset.
Yeah, I think the Durham loose said Scott Bowman. I think he just lost his footing. I don't think there was anything malicious in that one with the slippy conditions underfoot.
Yeah, the pitch has stood up very, very well considering the torrent of rain we had as the prologue to this match. You can see there the players beginning to clean out their studs.
Yeah, it's done.
Get a bit of a firmer footing. Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, it's done superb. I think even better than Nottingham Rugby staff thought it would hold up, actually, which is fantastic for them with a game here, this weekend.
This scrum, more stable, more secure. Fouls, hooks it out. Colin to Rawston Rudd to force it. Lewis cutting the line, steps inside. Still not dragged down, still stepping, still weaving. They're 20 out. Colin to Permain. Shovels it. Adamson. We know what he can do in the wide channels. Davies.
3 off feet.
Colin snakes back left. Permain. Toby Woods carries. That looked like a tired tackle from the pink wall. Rawston Rudd goes inside, fends again. Goodness, he's strong when he gets into close quarters. They're moving this Trent defence around at the moment. Hughes with the carry that time. Permain, the big clear out. That engine room, boy, it's been revving all night for the Palatinate. Fawcett looks to go wide, a show and go. Bush fouls, sees off his marker. The pass goes loose. Lewis was waiting for it and they've lost 10 yards here. Colin looks to build it again by going to one of his big runners, felled by Scott Hall. A kick gone wrong, gives the ball to Trent. Branco puts on the boot and it'll be a foot race here with Stevenson tracking back for Durham. Jimeno hot on his heels, snags him. Branco's next on the scene. Stevenson doing very well. He released the ball, picked it back up, and that was crucial from Stevenson because pink jerseys were all over the play there.
Use it!
Durham slow it down. They been taken back 90 metres from where they were attacking previously. Fantastic defence from the boys in pink.
Yeah, well, what Ben Stevenson, the Durham wing, has done there, it's not the most exciting thing you're ever going to see on a rugby field, but it was technically very, very good. If he'd have presented that ball back, there would have been a real counter-ruck opportunity for Trent, which could have led to a real opportunity. But just that composure to release the ball, get up, go again. It only bought a second or two, but that is all you need to get his teammates back round him to allow him to clear. But good opportunity here for Trent. This is a really important moment in the game. They haven't been down here this much in this half, and if they want to get something out of this game, something needs to be returned here.
Savvy play from Stevenson indeed, but loose play is what follows from Trent. And a let off the hook for Durham.
19! Dead ruck, leave it.
Colin boxes, and he boxes well, deep into the stands. That'll be a line out. Trent have lost 20 metres, but at least they still have the ball. As I can bring you a final score from the diff, where Cardiff Met have defeated Northumbria 29 points to 14. It'll be hymns and arias aplenty round the nightclubs of Cardiff tonight, because Cardiff have won 30 points to 3. Cardiff Met have won 29 points to 14, and that sets up a mouth-watering derby next week at the Arms Park that we're going to be bringing to you down the stream. But first things first, let's get this game settled, because Trent are looking for a way back in. They trail by 9 points, but they have the ball 30 metres from the Durham line.
19 away, don't roll this way.
And it's a rare opportunity, because they've been manacled in their own 22 and they spill at the crucial moment, fluffing their lines. It was an intricate bit of play in the middle that if it had come off, it would have opened up. But these errors are proving costly at the moment.
They are. You've got to give a lot of credit to the Durham defensive coach. They've managed to get their line speed absolutely spot on tonight, and a number of times that ball's been in Trent hands around the 12-13 channel, and they've put a huge amount of pressure on it to force the errors. Partly it's because Trent haven't been able to get the line speed on the game, which has given them that opportunity, but Durham have done very well at that.
Another scrum is on our hands. Chris, this is becoming too regular a feature for us in this second 40 minutes after a stellar opening 40. We'd like to see the game tidied up for the remaining 16 and a half minutes. But the set piece has been admirably strong until that moment. Backslapping and high fives all round for the front 8 of Nottingham Trent, because it's a penalty and an interesting call to make with them trailing by 9.
Yeah, it is, and Branco looks like he's lining up to push the ball towards the corner. Such is the modern day trend. There is definitely less kicking for posts going on, as we see a lot in the Premiership with Exeter. Really impressive scrum, that one actually from Trent. I think it's the first one since Cecil McCarthy went off the field, and you know, and Scott Bowman now having a new prop to go against up in Teddy Smith, and Teddy's done really well there on his first scrum to really hold it stable, which allowed Jamie Jack to earn the penalty on the other side.
And present a fresh mauling opportunity for a fresh hooker, Tommy Collingwood, hitting double top with his first start of the evening, and in the hooker's preferred role, controlling the joystick in the armchair at the back of the drive, but it's brought to the floor on the 22, and Trent attack the centre of the field. They are looking to put more width on it this half.
Rock, no hands.
They yielded a try very early, 42 minutes gone only when they crossed to get themselves back in the game in this half. A show and go from Williams, who finds Branco, the try scorer, on his shoulder, who feeds Harry Graham, and it is game on right here at Lady Bay.
Lovely hands in the wide channels there from the Trent back. It's been, when they have had the ball in the second half, they've played it very, very differently, and David Williams in particular has really excelled in that, and a really strong finish from Harry Graham, and the wherewithal to get as close to the post as he possibly can. And if this goes over, there's less than a penalty in it.
Well, Harry Graham will feel that's the second time that he's touched the ball down in that dead ball area this evening after the frantic chase for Fitzharding's try, but he has a retort now and a meat pie to his name. And this kick is a big one for young Ed Morgan, the fresh-faced 18-year-old with all the skill set and has played with plenty of confidence. Can he slot the extras? Well, he turns his head away with nonchalance, and it tells you that Trent have added 7 to their score, making it a 2-point game, as it is Nottingham Trent 21, Durham University 23, 66 minutes gone in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture brought to you by Yoti, and we have got a thrilling final 13.5 minutes to bring you here from Lady Bay.
Well, we like to serve you up entertainment here, as last time you were here, Alex Goble scored with the final play of the game to beat Loughborough. It's heading that way again.
You really are the most generous of hosts here at Nottingham Trent, but once again you're proving too generous as Stevenson's kicks over the top. Branco, who's been excellent in this second half, clears up the debris. And Trent on the back foot, but they do have the ball. They'll want to get out of here ASAP. Again, the kickoff going to Palatinate hands. Marion Hughes unable to release Stevenson into free space this time, but he put a testing kick in behind the Trent defence as Lewis counters. He's been great this half with a try, with plenty of runs, positive impacts. He's brought down 30 metres shy. Colin dictates things once again. The captain, Colin Markham, has taken to the field. They're bringing on the big guns, Durham. They want to see this out for their 3rd win on the trot. They want a bonus point too. But they need to seal the victory first, which Trent are hungrily chasing. 2 points adrift. Their defence battering the Palatinate wave that's coming again and again. Jacob Collin, the man who's calling the shots. It looks like the ball may have gone back, but you saw on the face of Charlie Wilson, he probably gave it away and made the decision easy for the referee. And again, fantastic defence from Trent, putting Durham under pressure, and they come up with the error.
Yeah, and it's interesting if you just look at the body language of the players just when the referee blows whistle for the knock-on. It's amazing how one try can change it. Trent very much up, congratulating each other, really trying to build a good feeling, whereas Durham's heads have just dropped a little bit, and just it's probably a positive thing for them that their captain Colin Markham is now on the field, because they'll just need that little bit of a lift as they go and get close to these final 10 minutes. But it's absolutely anyone's game.
Certainly some Rolls-Royce replacements on the bench for Durham tonight in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. The man there with the grey headguard making the adjustment in the 20 jersey, none other than Josh Basham, man of the match versus Bath in their victory away a fortnight ago. Just come back from the England 20s training camp. The man deletes people for a living, and he's not bad carrying either. Colin Markham into the second row. Charlie Wilson. Can Trent repel these big guns that Durham have unleashed from their arsenal? We'll find out soon enough, but Trent have the ball and it's their chance to get up into Durham territory, to not just close but eclipse this 2-point arrears that currently is in front of them.
Stay on blue 9. Good, thank you.
Another big scrum from Durham, but Trent get the ball out and they go wide. Williams with the ball now. A bit of a mix-up in the midfield.
11, obstruction.
Frustrating for Trent.
11, round in front of 13.
Their players were pouring through those wide channels, but Williams couldn't pick the pass. And what did Durham do here? Do they go for the post? Do they take this to a 5-point game? If Rawston Rudd can kick it.
Well, they are. They're pushing it towards the corner. Again, as is becoming the modern way, and that's not a bad kick either. They're about 10 metres out. I mean, those kicks certainly aren't on a bit of an angle. Certainly aren't bankers, and this allows them to hold on to the ball a little bit longer as well.
10 pink, sub please 10. Time's off, gents, relax.
A greedy touch finder from Kipper Fawcett puts Durham into the box seat. Their driving maul this half has been some weapon. We see Ben Fowles in the shot there, talking to the referee. Hugely impressive game from the number 8 and stand-in captain. We mentioned regular captain Colin Markham in the red headgear, who's just come on. A line-out impresario. They go to Hughes. Trent don't commit. Now they've committed. Now Durham can build. There's a Trent player in the way. He's acting as a speed bump. They stomp over his carcass and they still have momentum. Trent are in trouble here. The ball is nestled at the back and they squeeze themselves over. And their gamble has paid off. Durham over the line with a try, a bonus point try, and a try that takes them 7 points into the lead with 2 points to come. Great decision, fantastic execution.
Yeah, very good execution from Durham, especially with Trent deciding just to stand off and not engage with that maul initially, which requires, you know, the forwards some extra decision making. A gamble from Trent there. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, and unfortunately, when it doesn't work, it does just give the team with the ball that opportunity to build a little bit of momentum. And in the context of the game, hugely important kick now for Fawcett.
Hopefully Fawcett won't be put off by the unbelievable haircut of the spectator behind him as he lines up this crucial kick to take the lead to 10 points. He's put a fair bit of whip on that and he curls it around like a footballer through the centre, over the crossbar. And that is crucial. Durham now lead by 9 points. It's Nottingham Trent 21, Durham 30. 72 minutes gone and Trent are 2 scores away.
That's a mighty impressive kick that from Fawcett. It doesn't really come through maybe through your screens, but it can get very loud with the supporters banging on those boards there. There's a lot of pressure on him and executed it superbly well.
Durham, the victims of so many narrow losses last season, will be all too aware
Backwards off pink for me.
of the capability of teams in this league to come back and snatch late victories. And that's the tall order that Trent face at the moment. But they're in the right area of the park to build. From the halfway line, they spread wide. And here we go. Another pass just too far in front of the on-rushing Alex Goebel from Jimeno.
Knock on into touch, scrum. Yeah. Scrum called on the
And those are the margins that these kind of games are decided upon, and we've seen too much of that from Trent in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely there are. I think if you looked at the error stats, you'd probably see them certainly in the favour of Durham, and you know, those things are disappointing, but they happen. There's still a lot of time to go in this game. It certainly doesn't take long to score a try, as we've certainly seen today. Tries have come from absolutely nowhere at times.
Let's go, Casey. Lining us in square. Second. Second. Nice and tight. Give me that bottom one.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Nice, Jamie. Slip there, good.
Pike, please, gents, this side.
Durham certainly won't mind the 30 seconds on the reset scrum, though.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, Chris. And though we're not quite at the stage yet, I'm going to ask you to get your thinking cap on about a potential man of the match I'll leave that with you to ruminate, because there's been some big performances, certainly from the Palatinate, but also your boys.
The last time I did this, I gave it to a Loughborough player, and then 90 seconds later, Goble was under the post, and there was the awkward man of the match presentation to the losing team afterwards.
Well, that does appear to be a signature move from the BUCS Super Rugby commentary team, as it's not the first time that's happened, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Over 50% of this season's games decided by just a score, which gives you an idea of how tricky it is to call the man of the match when the game is in the balance. But at the moment, Durham are 2 scores ahead. A penalty on their 22, the ball in Fawcett's hands, and they just need to play the game in the right areas, and they'll be home and hosed.
Absolutely, I expect there's still 5 minutes plus stoppages to go, but I expect a slow walk to the line out. You'd probably expect them to try and set up a maul off this line out, and they said we're certainly not at running the clock down time territory just yet, but Durham will absolutely take as much time out of the game as they can.
Markham, the captain, rises to the skies. Colin decides not to keep it in. Stevenson, he has been incredibly influential, just doing wonderful things every time he gets the ball, be that in attack or defence. A key try to get them back in the game early after they succumbed to 10 minutes of early pressure that resulted in the Scott Hall opening try.
18 away.
And has sent Durham on their way to potentially their 3rd victory in a row. Colin puts a cute ball over the top. There's space there, but the touchline beats Stevenson to the ball, and Trent have got an awfully long way to go to get back into this game, or even for a losing bonus point.
Yeah, really smart play that from Durham. They know how hard it is, especially on days like today, to go from the distance, and ultimately that's now what the Trent team have got to do. They've got absolutely nothing to lose at this point. There could be an exciting last few minutes as they look to move the ball from their own 22.
Well, as things stand, Nottingham Trent will be 8th with 16 points. Cardiff will be 9th with 15 points, and Leeds Beckett marooned at the bottom on 14 points. And Durham will be leapfrogging some big names as well. They'll go up to 32 points, but with Bath leading and Cardiff Met actually having secured a win. It's crucial that Durham have kept pace with this bonus point as they attack to the very end. We're 2.5 minutes away from the conclusion of this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. A rip in midfield temporarily gives the ball to Trent, but Durham have it back before they are smashed into touch, much to the delight of the home crowd. They can take that moment back with them, but at the moment they're not taking any points with them. We're 2 minutes from the final whistle. Chris, talk to me about your man of the match.
It'll probably come as no surprise. As much as I've been impressed with the way that Kipper Fawcett has managed the game for Durham, although I believe he's off the field now, I just think Miles Rawstrom-Rudd has made what is a very challenging game today look relatively simply. Looks like he's had a lot of time on the ball. He's been central to a lot of their attacking play, and so it goes to the Durham number 12, Miles Rawstrom-Rudd.
So the Durham number 12, Miles Rawstrom-Rudd, is your Yoti man of the match. No try for Rawstrom-Rudd tonight, but 2 penalties and a couple of conversions, but some huge runs through the centre of the park, always gaining yards, always challenging the home defence, has made him our man of the match. We'll be catching up with him at the end of the game as he sits on the bench, warm, snug in a substitute's jacket, knowing that 5 points will be travelling up the road to the northeast. And will Durham finish with a flourish? Fouls, another key player in tonight's game. Finds Jack Headley. He's been frustrated on that right wing all night, but nothing's got through him. Markham carries, force it. Finds Bowerman, who's been busy all night. Out the back to Wilson. Sporforth to Lewis. How we'd love to see Charlie Sporforth open his legs in a bit of space. And show us some of the talents that were on display in Dubai for the England Royals.
Thank you, one. Thank you.
Trent continue to tackle. They know the game is up. Fouls, carries again. Trent are going to finish with plenty of pride, but unless Durham cough this ball up, they'll be finishing with no points, which feels so cruel after they've been integral in a really closely fought match. That force-it conversion from the touchline, the banana conversion as Stevenson finds an outside arc, and Headley finally gets his chance to shine. He's tripped. His head guard is ripped off in the process, and Per Main slides in onto the ball. Looks like he's been cycled back on for Marin Hoos. Durham are relentless. They're enjoying this, which is a reflection on their season in the manner of which they've been playing. Apart from when they've come across Hartbury, they've been a match for any side that's been thrown at them.
Use it! Tell me when it's my time, Mike, please. Yeah.
And Trent's resilience has to be admired here. They haven't given up hope of dislodging this ball and maybe streaking up the pitch for a try and a losing bonus, but at the moment they're being suffocated by the Palatinate pack.
They have, and it's really worth Trent attacking the ball here. They've got nothing to lose, and referees are looking really closely at the attacking side in these scenarios, but that looks like it's it.
Well, Ollie Green says that enough is enough, and he puts the laces through it. Durham are victorious at Lady Bay. It is Nottingham Trent 21, Durham University 30 in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture, brought to you by Yoti. Full time here at Lady Bay. It's been a cracking game of rugby, but the home side lead with nothing, and Durham take 5 points to the northeast on a day of extraordinary results.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'll play. Well done, Nine. Well done. Thanks, sir. Cheers, well done. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers, sir. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
So the formalities of the handshakes
Hold on, mate. Hold on.
of 46 players who fought hard throughout the evening. It's Durham who come out on top. We'll take a look at all the tries right now. And it was Trent who kicked things off, and it was looking very promising, Chris.
It was. They had the majority of the first 10 minutes, controlled the game very, very well. Managed to get on the right side of a couple of penalties, and got that deserved try. But you really did feel when the first Durham try came after that the game changed quite quickly after that.
It sure did. It was a bit of a false dawn. It was a fantastic start, concerted, applied pressure from the home side. But the coach killer, as you phrased it, Chris, was the try that followed this, which was Ben Stevenson stealing in down the left-hand side, straight from the resulting kickoff after smart work from Marin Hoos. Seems appropriate, the Dutchman having a hand in this, because looking at the numbers on the jerseys of the players who performed tonight, it was total rugby from Durham at times.
It was. They were very impressive on the ball across the team, and that is what built that pressure in their ability just to do very, very simple, basic things. Neither side did anything particularly flash this evening, and there might not be many contenders for try of the year in there. but Durham executed their skills very, very well, and they earned the rewards from it. And it very much was a night where you had to earn the rewards.
You had to earn the rewards, chance your arm, and chase down every avenue, even if you thought it was a cul-de-sac. And Fitzharding embodied this in a controversial score that the ref awarded to Durham University. But replay suggests that Harry Graham might have been first to get his hand down. It was marginal. The referee gave it as best he could, and Durham were in the lead before smart work just after half-time got Trent right back into the game. Caetano Branco, the Portuguese international, very impressive in the second 40. But Trent couldn't build on it.
Yeah, he was, and he really nice tracking line there off Davy Williams to score the try coming through the middle. I think really throughout that second half, Trent just couldn't hold on to the ball well enough. Durham managed to work their way down into Trent half relatively easily. And throughout the game, as we're seeing some of the scores here, they took the opportunities when they were available to them, and they've got to be given a huge amount of credit for that.
Durham's maul grew into the game as the nights went on. Kipper Fawcett with the free shot and a clever crossfield, finding Tom Lewis, who brought out his customary celebration that we saw in his cheeky try against Cardiff last week. We'll try and get the inside scoop on what that means as we take another look from behind the post. Good vision from Kipper Fawcett. The discipline being poor from Trent under immense amounts of pressure, giving Fawcett the chance to chance his arm with the crossfield, and Lewis finished expertly. But it left time for Trent to once again come back into the game and make it a 2-point game.
Yeah, it did, and again, it was good hands there from David Williams and simple skills from Branco, but never underestimate, you know, how hard they are under pressure. And a good finish from Graham to get round.
What highlights?
But this final try here, Durham had the opportunity to kick at post. They didn't do it. They composed themselves well when Trent decided not to initially contest that maul. And as you said, Joe, their maul came into the game as it went on.
Well, that was the nail in Trent's coffin, and Durham with the bonus, with the victory secured, and so cruelly, as we've mentioned, Nottingham Trent leaving with nothing. So a brilliant game at Lady Bay that we've just brought you, but of course we brought you another BUCS Super Rugby fixture brought to you by Yoti last week, and that wasn't short on action either.
Forward. Somebody's lost a boot there to the left of the breakdown. And another penalty for Northumbria. Kickable, but instead they've gone quickly. Are they 10 metres? Yes, says the referee, but they're only a metre short here. Lovely work from James Elliott. And now it is on for the home team.
Let's go! Let's go!
Over the line. And awarded.
Wonderful.
Northumbria 5, Loughborough 0. The invention of James Elliott there. It was a kickable penalty. Let's take another look at this.
Oh, 8. High tackle, number 2. No, it's still a high tackle.
Oh, was it Ollie Robinson? Carried it over. He still had a bit of work to do there. Had to negotiate the post.
Right.
Yeah, it's a strong finish from Ollie. You can see him looking at both sides there, scanning really well. It's a good finish against the odds.
Seemed to have plenty of time. Out of the back door and up the blind side. There goes Will Finley. Inside ball to Josh Lewis. Parkhouse has to make the tackle, drives him out towards the touchline.
Options taken!
And they've gone quickly. Not the cleanest of strikes off the left boot. It is back with Loughborough. It's James Spencer.
No tackle.
Only half tackled. Strags his way towards the 22. Rafai thought he had hands on that then. He's looked good at the breakdown as Northumbria's number 6. Josh Lewis. Jared Leet.
Roll 12! Good.
Here's Lewis again. Comes to the open side. Looks to try and free the hands, and he does. It's Archie McPherson for the corner. Gets it down. Straight over the top of Charlie Parkhouse. And it's Northumbria 7, Loughborough 5. Trying to hold him up, but he does well to find the floor. Bragman. Lewis Berg.
Don't play the
over the gain line.
Reset quicker.
Howarth. Oh, spots the mismatch and gets around the flanker. Parkhouse for the corner, he's going to score. And it's vintage Northumbria. 12-7, and you give him a chance like that and they'll cut you to ribbons.
It's a dangerous player, that Parkhouse. Definitely one to watch.
Job as an outside half in a team like this.
Yeah, he does really well for us, Josh. He's got great game management. He controls the boys well.
Oh, and that one's gone loose though. Jamie Harding snaffles it at the back. Up the blind side, and there goes the prop forward, Sam Grahamslaw. Offloads to Aaron Tate, who gets over for Loughborough's second. Top handling from the front rowers. But it's a mistake from Northumbria that's pounced upon, and that seems to be the characteristic of the game.
Yeah, again, that's really good from Loughborough. They always seem to react really well to pressure being placed on them, and it's evidence from this try. Just a few missed tackles there from a few players, and they broke through really well.
Good awareness there from Sam Grahamslaw. That is modern prop forward play, because many moons ago the big lads got their head down and they wouldn't get rid of it for hell or high water. But he did well there, drew in the tackle. A few minutes to go before half-time as George Williams crashes it forward. There's a pick-up and a dart. Is it touchdown on the post? Yes, it is. Ed Blunworth puts Northumbria back into the lead. The bench empties as well. Seems like all the players on the pitch are crowded around that post. He's coming here for Northumbria. Has Yari Fantini gone high there? A couple of questionable ones in this period of play as Jared Lee goes again. Turns, looks for the offload, doesn't get it, and Northumbria fan out. Here's the try scorer, Archie McPherson. He's going to get his second of the match. Hanging out there on the right wing, like Gary Lineker in front of goal, and it's Northumbria 21, Loughborough 19, and a second meat pie for the big second rower.
It's good patience from Loughborough. They didn't try force it. They knew they had their big players out wide in the right places, and they shipped the ball to them, and it's clearly worked twice now. So I think Northumbria need to react to that. Need to work on idea a bit on the outside channels.
And of course, Loughborough will take a lot of confidence from the discipline there, but what about that defensive discipline from Northumbria as well? Not a lot they could have done about that. They were moments away from the turnover a number of times.
Yeah, we're really trying to pressure the breakdown, try to slow their ball.
Northumbria attacking the line. The centres are threatened to do this the whole time. They're over the line. Is that the ball game? Oh, Northumbria make the chance stick. Loughborough could not clear the line. And Lewis Berg could have won it for the home team. They've been desperate for a victory. Back-to-back defeats. And Lewis Berg.
Great work from Lewis there. Really worked hard on the tackle, leg drive.
Well, he's got through 4, 5. Tajuata had 2 bites at the cherry there. Lewis Berg.
He's a strong old boy, that Lewis Berg. Works hard in the gym. He's definitely one of the strongest boys we've got on the team. Loves a good back squat. Rubbish bench though. And pull-ups.
5 defenders beaten. So close, painfully close. Kilgallen is all that stands between Northumbria and that post protector.
One out wide for the Polly boys.
Well, the outside backs fancy it. But this is just what they needed to do, just to see this game out.
Just trying to be critical here, not lose the ball. Last thing we want now is turn over possession, get the pressure back on us.
Well, the clock's red, they're over the line!
Cracking.
And that is the ball game. 5 tries for Northumbria, 3 victories in a row. There is the full-time score. Northumbria 35, Loughborough 19.
Welcome back, everybody. We're down here at pitchside, catching up with one of the heroes of the Durham victory and the man who masterminded, Alex Key, the most elusive man in BUCS Rugby to get on camera for an interview. I'd describe our relationship as Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, but I've tracked him down, Alex, and that was a great game for the spectator, but maybe not one for the ticker, as Trent wouldn't let the game go for you guys.
No, I agree to some extent, but I think we have to give Trent credit. I think they're a real dogged side, and they're hard to beat, they're hard to break down. They play some good rugby, so we knew it was going to be a bit of a wrestle, and we needed to win the wrestle but not play that game, if that makes sense.
Well, you played some thrilling stuff and also some opportunistic rugby. You were ruthless when you had the opportunity to score.
Yeah, probably it's been a fault of ours this year. We haven't picked up the bonus points, so getting the bonus point was pretty good tonight. And yeah, and we're close to a full complement of guys back in the back line, so yeah, that works.
So you won 3 in a row. We were just talking off camera, and you got a bonus point win this evening, yet you're still in the same place in the table in 5th. That's a reflection on this league, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean the results tonight have been off the wall, you know, and everyone's beating each other. So, but I think there's 4 points between the top 5, so it's pretty close, and we're in the mix. And that's what we said, we wanted to get Christmas and be in the mix.
Right in the mix, and it's to do with performances like the man standing to your left, Miles Rawstra. Rudd, what about his performance tonight, Alex?
Yeah, he was outstanding. Miles carried really well, always a threat, always a good carrier. So yeah, Miles does a great job there.
Okay, Alex. So, Chris, you awarded Miles the man of the match. Why was that?
Yeah, I really like the balance he brought to the team today between looking when to move the ball and carry. He just had that little bit more composure than probably most of the rest of the guys on the field tonight, and that's a hard thing to do when the conditions like that. And you know, Miles, I'm just wondering, coming into the game, it was slippy underfoot. What did you talk about in terms of trying to achieve that balance as a team?
It was really rainy on the way here, so we knew it was probably going to be quite slippy, but when kickoff actually came, the conditions were probably perfect, apart from the ground being quite slippy. So we knew that we had to try and score some tries. Like Alex said, we haven't had any bonus points for a long time. So that was really the aim. But also we knew we had to play the conditions, kick into the corner, and I think we balanced it probably quite well, getting the bonus point right at the end.
I'd say, Miles, watching Durham, I've seen you quite a few times recently. You all seem to be really enjoying your rugby and playing well as a team. There's a real togetherness about your side, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. I think we get on really well. We're quite a close group. Portugal in pre-season, as you all know, probably helped that out quite a lot. But no, we are. I think we're playing for each other as much as anything, and we believe the kind of back the processes. And luckily, the results are starting to come our way. 3 wins on the trot, two big ones before Christmas, and hopefully we'll be higher than 5th by the new year.
The infamous Portugal training camp bearing fruit. But as you said, a lot of away games, lots of home games to look forward to. So it's really something you guys can build on going forward now.
Yeah, definitely. We had 3. We had Cardiff, Met, Hartpury and Bath on the bounce, and from Durham that's a pretty long way. But now it's kind of coming down to Nottingham seems like a trip down the road. So yeah, we're looking good, and hopefully we can build from there.
Excellent. Well played this evening. You are the Yoti man of the match. Alex, I'm going to ask you to award the medal, if you'd be so kind.
Absolutely, great pleasure.
Congratulations, Miles. A terrific performance, very impressive. You boys can head off to the sheds into the warmth and celebrate with your teammates.
Cheers, guys.
Pleasure as always, boys. Come join me, Chris. You've been great company so far this evening. We just touched on the competitive nature of the league. It feels very, very cruel that you guys miss out on any points at all from that enthralling encounter.
Yeah, but that's the way the game goes sometimes, isn't it? And you know, it's one decision here, one decision there, and that's the way it is. But you know, that's why we watch, that's why we're here, and that's why this league is so compelling this year, isn't it? Everyone really can beat everyone. It's, with some of the other results tonight, has really shown that.
It sure has. Well, thank you for your company. You are welcome back anytime, Chris. But for us, that is almost it here at Lady Bay. Just to remind you, if you're looking for a bit of extra time on your favourite league, you can find that on the podcast. The Buck stops here. It is on SoundCloud, it is on Acast, and it is now on Spotify. So get downloading, where myself and Dave Rogers dissect the games of the week before and preview the games ahead. And we have some real special guests. We've had some big names such as Alex Dombran, Sam Skinner, and all the big characters from the league so far this season. But for tonight, Durham have come down and they have robbed the boys from Nottingham of 0 points, and they leave with 5 themselves. It's been a night of extraordinary results. The league is afoot. Who's going to win next week? God, I don't know. But there's only one way to find out. It's join us here. So until then, good night.